Hey heretics, today we're diving deep into the Bible horror story that reminds me that my parents would have killed me as a child if God asked them to. Buckle up for Genesis 22, 1 through 12, NIV, because things are about to get very, very messed up. This God is obsessed with human sacrifice. Like, it's his favorite thing. Between his son, who died on the cross for us, this guy's son, who God's gonna ask to sacrifice, and having all of us sacrifice our whole lives for him, sounds like a narcissist to me. All right, so let's crack open the good book. Genesis 22, 1 through 12 tells us a story of Abraham, a dude that God really liked, and his son Isaac. In this passage, God decides to put Abraham's loyalty to the ultimate test. And here's how it goes. Abraham 22, starting on verse 1. Sometime later, God tested Abraham. He said to him, "Abraham, here I am," he replied. Then God said, "Take your son, your only son, whom you love, Isaac, and go to the region of Moriah. Sacrifice him there as a burnt offering on a mountain. I will show you." Early the next day, Abraham got up, loaded his donkey. He took with him 2 of his servants and his son Isaac. When he had cut enough wood for the burnt offering, he set out for the place God had told him about. On the 3rd day, Abraham looked up and saw the place in the distance. He said to his servants, "Stay here with the donkeys while I and the boy go over there. We will worship there, and then we'll be back." Abraham took the wood from the burnt offering and placed it on his son Isaac. He himself carried the fire and the knife. As the 2 of them went on together, Isaac spoke up and said to his father, Abraham, "Father?" "Yes, my son," Abraham replied. "The fire and the wood are here," Isaac said, "but where is the lamb for the burnt offering?" Abraham answered, "God himself will provide the lamb for the burnt offering, my son." And the 2 of them went on together. When they reached the place God had told him about, Abraham built an altar there and arranged the wood on it. He bound his son Isaac and laid him on the altar on top of the wood. Then he reached out his hand and took the knife to slay his son. But the angel of the Lord called out to him from the heavens, "Abraham, Abraham!" "Here I am," he replied. "Do not lay a hand on the boy. Do not do anything to him. Now I know that you fear God, because you have not withheld from me your son, your only son." Dang, we really do like treating kids like they're property. Hold on a minute. God wants to sacrifice a child? The all-loving, all-good, all-amazing God wants to kill children? Yeah, you heard that right. God tells Abraham to take his son Isaac, his only son, the one he loves, and sacrifice him on a mountain. Now, some folks might say that it's just a metaphor or a test of faith. But hold up. Sacrificing your child is a pretty extreme test of faith, don't you think? What kind of God would ask you to kill someone for him? Not a very good one, in my opinion. This story hits a little too close to home for me. Growing up, my parents used to use this exact passage to justify their controlling behavior. They would say things like, "We would do anything for God, even if it meant giving you up," but in a less YouTube-friendly term. Let me tell you, that kind of talk messes with kids' heads. It creates a constant fear that you're just a pawn in some divine game and that your parents are willing and ready to sacrifice your life on a whim. This story reeks of an abusive power play. God is basically saying, "Love me unconditionally and obey me without question, even if it means harming the people you love most." That's messed up. It creates a dynamic where people are terrified to question God's will, no matter how crazy it might be. And the worst part is, that's the point. This is supposed to teach you that no matter what crazy thing God says, you should follow him. And he'll find a way out, even if it seems horrific, like murder or genocide. Too bad he didn't have the same out for everybody in the flood, huh? Look, it's okay to question these stories, important even. Blind faith is dangerous. If your faith requires you to give up your own judgment or act in a way that harms yourself or others, then maybe it's time to reevaluate things. So what do you think? Was God totally out of line here? Or do you feel like this was a fair test? Let me know in the comments below. And if you're ever experiencing religious trauma, know that you're not alone. There are people out there who understand and will support you. And until next time, remember to keep laughing through the apocalypse. Mwahaha!